Good morning. I'm out here up the road from our farm. I got a 20-acre field for custom farming. They just want us to cut, rake, and bale it for them. Trying to get it done before the, I think Monday. I think it's rain. It's Thursday now. And I just walked out of the field and reached down and grabbed the first thin windrow way back there. And way back there. Felt wet. I don't like it. So I'm walking out here to some thicker stuff. The ground is just absolutely saturated and soaked. It's still like wet. Here we go. Let's look at this right here. So grab a handful, flip it over. We want the stuff on the bottom because that's where it's been least amount of sun. I'm feeling moisture with my hand. I'm feeling moisture here. I mean, this is looking like the day I cut it. It's not even close. It's not even close to dry. The top's not dry either. So I'm not turning it because this beautiful green color I like. I want to keep the color. I think it's important. And if we keep it the top down like this, and then the bottom down, and the top bleaches out. You see how it's all bleached? And you see how this is green? Well, only the top thin layer is being bleached. The majority of it is actually green. So this green color, this beautiful green color that we have here, I don't know how well this is gonna come through on the camera, but this is what we want to see our beautiful dry hay looking like. And this is a little test leak like this, and if that breaks, it's dry. But I mean, I can take a much smaller handful and I can't get it to break. So we still have an absolute absorbent amount of moisture in the grass. And the spot that I'm at here is actually a little bit drier. Down that way is a little bit wetter of the field. It gets wetter that way, and then it gets it's uphill. You can see the little ditch through here. So that's down. I'd say that's up. No, we'll walk all the way over there. This field over here that we're gonna walk to right now, little field, was so thick that it actually, well, that's the reason my mower was breaking its belt. And then my dad came out here to cut with his cutter, and yeah, he had equal issues. It was hard. He also didn't lighten up his conditioner. The conditioners have like pressures, like how hard they can condition. His is a flail conditioner. It's a little different than mine. Mine's a roller conditioner, 2 rollers pushing together. The grass goes through the center of it and it crimps them. We saw that when we looked at the mower. His is a flail mower. It's like fingers that kind of grab it and flick it. I've never used one, but I've heard they work better because like the fingers that hit the grass as it flings it out, it actually like breaks the waxy on the outside of it, and that wax is what's holding in the moisture. So we want to break that wax, and I think from understanding the flail conditioner, as it hits it and kind of strips it, it has a tendency to strip more of the wax or break more of it to make it dry better. And I believe that could be true, only because when you're cutting thick windrows like these, the roller conditioners, when you're putting, say 6 inches of material through, only the top layer and the bottom layer that's going through the 2 rollers are actually coming in contact with the rollers and squishing it. And the rollers should have enough pressure to kind of crimp all of it, but it doesn't. So when it's thick, you can run into all sorts of problems. Your conditioner doesn't work well, then it's so thick it doesn't dry well. It's so thick that it's such a thick windrow on the ground itself that the ground underneath of it doesn't dry out. So like between the windrows here on the ground, you can kind of see where we see dirt and it's dried out. If we get underneath here the windrow and you see that dirt's still wet. And so this is where a lot of guys farmers get their own opinions and decide to do their own thing. I'm for making quality hay. I think that's more important than anything. don't understand. A lot of people are just trying to get the hay done. So if I really wanted to just get the hay done up here, if I was in a hurry, I'd come up here, I'd rake it today, that'd flip it over, they'd take the wet from the bottom, flip it over onto dry ground, and the wet would be on the top, the dry would be on the bottom, and it would be in a new spot. So that the ground is dry, and so that where I moved it from would be able to dry out. Not that matters, but then where it's sitting already has lost a lot of moisture, and so the morning dew and stuff that comes on will the morning dew that's underneath those wet windrows is the worst. So if we move the windrows over, we get a lot better drying. But then you're bleaching everything. Now you're bleaching the top and the bottom, you're rolling together, and it rolls them tight. And this is where I take my opinion. When you rake it, it rolls it tight, or tighter than the original windrow that it's at now. And yeah, it kind of fluffs it up, and it'll settle out over a little bit of time. And that fluffed up, like we have a breeze right now, it's not too bad. And that fluffing it up, making a kind of a tighter windrow, and the breeze isn't so bad, but it's tighter, and so it just doesn't want to dry as easily. So, yeah, let's walk a couple rows in here. Yeah, this stuff is thick. It's gonna make nice hay out here. It's gonna be really good. I'm gonna check this spot right here, right in the middle. So again, I'm gonna flip it over. Just kind of a little handful here. Roll it like that so we can see. Yeah, we can see. You can kind of hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. It's got a little crunch to it, and it's got beautiful color. Beautiful color. We got a lot of clover in here. Clover doesn't like to dry either. It's got just a lot of moisture in it. Yeah, that's what we need, is that sun coming out. It's so wet. It's so wet, and the ground is so wet. And the ground really isn't that dry out here. Dig down just a few inches or an inch, yeah. It's actually getting wet. So I'm not a big fan of rolling it right now. I think that'll do more damage than good. I think if we really want to do a decent job, and I like the location here, and the people are nice, so I wouldn't mind, you know, making this a yearly thing coming up here. Just close to home, and nice flat ground, good hay. Yeah, I think it's a good way to, you know, make some money and keep my equipment going. It's really what it is. I mean, I can put up the hay on my property, which is great, but that pays for the property. And that's basically all it does. It pays taxes, insurance, and property payments. So when I do all the haying, the hay pays for that. But when my tractor breaks down or my mower breaks down, I gotta buy a new belt for the mower, whatever it is, the money doesn't really come, has to come from me somehow, somewhere else, besides the haying that I do on the property. So picking up little fields like this, little satellite fields around the place, is a really good way to keep our farm going. And then of course, new to kind of taking over, not even taking over yet. Hopefully in the next year I'll be fully in charge. I'll be purchasing the property, but until then we're just doing what we can. So I have a bunch of little operations trying to go here and there, partner with some people, just doing what we can. So we're out here doing this field, and I've got inquiries about a couple more, and I've seen what my dad has gone out, and he does the same thing kind of. I don't know why, because I started doing this stuff on our farm and he got bored, so we decided to go do custom farming. But he's learned really quick that being mobile and moving around is not as easy as it sounds. You know, when all your equipment and your shop and everything's on there, same yard, you break a bolt, you walk back to the shop, grab a bolt, come back out, and the wrenches you need, hop on a quad, an ATV, you know, and go out there and fix your stuff and go back in, and you can stop and go to the bathroom, like all these things. It makes it easy. You know, I broke down up here, I didn't have any wheels, I couldn't get a hold of anybody, so I had to walk a ways. Luckily I got a hold of someone and they gave me a ride. But yeah, custom farming's not that easy. It is easy once you got all the tools and everything you need. And in my opinion, that is all of my vehicles need to be working, my trailers need to be working, everything needs to be good to go. Realistically, pintle hitch trailer right now is one of the last things I need for my big truck. Well, we'll see all that stuff later, not today, but you'll see it before harvest is over this year. And that truck will be awesome for moving things around, and I could put twine and diesel on it and tools on it, pull the trailer, pull the telehandler, I can pull hay. So when you're being custom farming, the real thing is you just got to have a lot more tools, almost double. I mean, you got to have more tractors, because I can't just disconnect the tractor and the edge of the field and go rake next, because if I'm doing custom farming, that tractor needs to stay with the mower, go on to the next field and cut, so I always have work in front of me. But I only have one tractor, I can only do a little bit of time. Like I've been, working on my equipment for the last couple days, which has been great. I've needed it, the time to do it. But yeah, so, I mean, I should have been cutting. I should cut every day, every other day I should cut. And then 3 days from then I should rake. Every 3 days I should be doing something. Cutting, baling, raking, and then repeat. Cut, bale, rake, repeat. Cut, bale, rake, repeat. So, all right, well, this is my custom field, my first one out here. Looks good. I'm excited. It's good hay, good ground. Wet for now, but hey, this is the type of year we're in. I'll just keep it up and checking it. I'll get the rake ready today, and probably raking, realistically, probably maybe even tomorrow, depending on what we get for weather. This overcast and the wet we have is just not okay. Yeah, we need to get some dry weather. The wind's not bad, but again, it's my windows have already kind of shrunk down. They only stay propped up for the first day, day and a half, and they kind of just settle, which doesn't allow the air to go through it as well. So no matter what, I'll probably rake on Friday, even if it's not ready to bale, just so that it can get a little closer ready to bale. But again, it's all going to depend on weather. I think I've heard from some people that we're looking at rain, possibly like Monday, Tuesday. I'll check the weather here in a little bit and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, I might have to do some other things. I even have access to a tedder. I can bring a tedder out here. I hate that. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It makes a mess. Just fucking your material up more and more and more. But sometimes when you have this thick tall grass on this very, very wet ground, it's just, that's not this ground's fault. It's just this year's weather has kept everything really wet. So it might just be that much more difficult to get it up dry enough to bale. When I went up to do my dad's stuff, help him out the other day, his baler over in Lacombe, higher ground and everything, I mean, he said bale it. So I got the baler working, and then I went to bale it, and I had to get out and move a couple bales out of my way to keep baling, and they're heavy and they're wet, I think. I don't have a moisture meter. I didn't test it. I will. When I do mine, I will. I believe in my instruments. I have a moisture meter. They're not cheap. They're like $400, but I got one. We actually have two. Tom gave me one from his dad too. So we have two of them to double check. One of them doesn't seem to be working real well, but whatever. Yeah, so let's head back to the shop. We'll get the rake ready to go. Finish putting the teeth on it, and I'm kind of excited. I'm in no rush to get out here. I was kind of worried that I might need to get that rake going and get out here and rake today, but not today. Maybe later.